Hola! In today's video, we are going to be talking about red flags when it comes to choosing who you want to date, and choosing who you want to be with, choosing who you want to marry, all of that fun stuff. But first, I have a story. Once upon a time, a guy decided to take out this girl. He met her online. She shot him a message saying, "Hey baby, let's meet at 5. And he said, "Where at?" And she sent an address, and then boom, they were going on a date. Wasn't even on a dating app. She somehow found his email and sent him that. And he decided to go for it. So he arrives to the restaurant, and there the girl is. And she is literally head to toe. No, not neck to toe. Head to toe. Draped in red flags. On her cheek is a red flag. On her chest is a red flag. On her arm is a red flag. On her spine is a red flag. Her socks are literally made out of a red flag. And whenever she talks, there's a red flag right in front of her mouth that just kind of waves in the wind, as if her mouth is the wind. However, her red flags are so professionally well done, polished. They are just, I'm just gonna say it, absolutely stunning. These red flags make this girl look like the most beautiful girl in the whole restaurant. And that might sound exciting, except when we realize the restaurant is a Mickey D's and there's only 2 other elderly people over the age of 100 in this Mickey D's. He was going goo goo gaga ooh la la over this lady, and the red flag aspects were just truly making him swoon. And so what did this guy do? He sat down at the Mickey D's. He bought her 3 Big Macs with a side of 3 more Big Macs, and they just had a splendid old time. The truth is, the guy didn't really enjoy the date because the girl's totally opposite of what you would want in an actual date or an actual girlfriend. However, he was just too in love to notice that she was literally clothed in red flags and embodying every single red flag on planet Earth. So what is the point of the story? The point of the story is that even when this guy could see the red flags literally labeled right on the person, which were titled with different things like gossips, eats through her nose, kicks babies in strollers, all of these things on the red flags, he disregarded all of them because, man, didn't she look great? Or man, didn't she give him attention? Or man, wasn't she the best person available to him at that moment? Whatever his reasons were, he still decided to be with that girl for 1 date, for 2 dates, and for, yes, the rest of their lives. Now let me ask you this. Is this what you want? Do you want to be able to recognize the red flags and act accordingly, even if there might be things that attract you to this person? Well, in today's video, we're going to be talking about some things to watch out for, things to look for, and things to be cautious of in today's episode of Love Stories with Grady. Hola, I'm a 22-year-old man here to chat about your relational game plan. And in today's episode, we are talking about the flags that are red. Yes, the red flags, which simply means, in case you don't know, things to be cautious of when looking at someone while considering to be in a relationship with them. All right, first, before we get to that, let's talk about a few things to be cautious of when considering if dating is wise. Because maybe something's not necessarily wrong with the other person, but maybe something is wrong with you. Or maybe circumstances show that both of you shouldn't be in a relationship. There's a red flag on you because of this, or there's a red flag on the other person. Anyway, there's a few reasons. The book says reasons not to go steady, and going steady in the olden days simply meant dating. And what book am I talking about? Yes, I'm talking about Facts of Life and Love for Teenagers by Miss Evelyn Millis Duvall. But as we have talked about, for teenagers simply means for everyone, because back in 1957, teenagers were as mature as 40-year-olds are now. So this is for everyone. Number 1 reason to not go into a relationship if you are too young. I'm not gonna say when too young is young, but if you can't even bring your girl around to different places, if you don't even know how to drive a car, if you don't even know what a car is, you might be too young. If you don't know the point of dating, if you don't know why you want to date this other person, if you don't know what red flags to look for, this might be a problem. Yes, you can date for fun. Yes, you can date for pleasure. However, is that really gonna get you what you want in the long run? Once again, as I've talked about in other dating videos, when I mostly talk about dating, I'm talking about intentional dating towards marriage. Another reason it is not wise to date is if you realize that you're shutting every single other person out in order to be with this person. That is a no-no. Another sign when dating and going steady is not wise to go into is if you're being maneuvered and pressured into it. If your mom's like, you need to date this person. Your dad's like, you need to date this person. Your Aunt Ethel is saying, you need to date this person. If your friend JoJo is saying, you need to date this person. If the girl herself is saying, you need to date me, or the boy himself is saying, you need to date me, whoever it may be that is pressuring you, maneuvering you into it, you need to realize if you actually want to date this person because you want it, or if someone else wants you to. Another reason the book says not to date, or when going steady might not be wise, is when you're long distance. It says if you can't see each other often due to distance and being separated, it might not be the easiest. And Miss Evelyn Millis Duvall is exactly right on the money. It might not be the easiest, but the question is the other person worth it? And is dating that other person worth it? Because we thankfully live in a world where not only letters can be sent across the world, but you can literally pick up your phone, a machine in your hand, and dial up someone across the world and have a intentional or fun or exciting conversation with that person. My parents, who know a lot of couples, they once told me that during relationship games, it was kind of interesting because they would go to like a party, a Christmas party or whatever, for couples, and everyone would be playing a relationship game where it was like, how well do you know your partner? And my dad said the partners who knew each other best actually tended to be the couples who were in long distance relationships, because they had been forced to not just turn on a movie when they were together, to not just go to bumper cars. They didn't have the opportunity to do all these things. All they had the opportunity to do was to get to know each other. And so dating long distance, even though it can be sucky at times, it might actually be an asset. Another sign that your dating relationship might not necessarily be the best thing in the world is if you're outgrowing each other. Are you on the same playing field when it comes to intelligence? Are you on the same playing field when it comes to spirituality? Is one way more spiritual than the other? Are you on the same page with life goals? Is one really ambitious while the other person is super coasting and doesn't want anything in life? Is one person super confident and outgrowing the other person in confidence, where the other person is meek and mild and not really able to operate and do anything in life because they are so unconfident? If someone is very valuable to you, and if someone has the right priorities and the same mindset as you won't outgrow your other, you'll grow with your other. You'll grow together, and that is super exciting. You'll grow your intelligence together, grow your spirituality together. You'll grow your life goals together. You'll grow your confidence together. All right, I just looked up some red flags on the internet, and I'm going to read them out rapid fire for you. You're going to experience all of these red flags fast and furious. I'm not going to probably commentate on any of them, and I might not agree with all of them, but I'm still going to list them. Red flag, they don't want to put a label on the relationship after a few months of dating. Next red flag, you don't feature on their social media account for a few months after dating, which honestly is a weird red flag. I don't feel like everyone needs to post about their love life, but whatever. Red flag, they never initiate dates. Red flag, there's a power imbalance. Red flag, you express your feelings to each other differently, which I don't feel like that makes sense. People express love in different ways, but I think you just need to learn how each other receives love and make sure you prioritize showing love in that way. Red flag, one of you is keeping secrets, which, to be fair, not everyone needs to tell you every single thing once you start dating. I mean, if they don't want to tell you every single thing, you should probably question why. But sometimes things are best to be shared later. Red flag, they'll only hang out with you in the late hours of the night. And at first I'm like, why the heck is this a red flag? But then I looked at the description of why, and it says it's likely because they're only interested in one thing from you. They only want one thing from you in a bedroom, likely with the lights off. Red flag, you're catching them in lies. Ooh, that's a good one. Red flag, they're always on their phones around you. And I meant to say phone, but yes, if they have like 3 phones and they're on all 3 phones at the same time, that's a big red flag. Red flag, they're extremely jealous from the start. And this website says having a little jealousy is like fine and even flattering sometimes, but extreme jealousy can probably be unhealthy. Like if you see your dating person talking to the teller who's the opposite gender at the store, it's like, ma'am, would you like a plastic or paper bag for this? And your girlfriend says, paper please. You're like, how dare you talk to this male You are just such a cheating beep, 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 beep. Red flag if they're constantly bringing up or smack talking about their ex. Red flag if they're being flaky. They're bailing on plans last minute. That means I had to read further because I didn't really know what flaky meant. Red flag, they're not respecting your boundaries, whether that's emotional boundaries, physical boundaries, so on and so forth. Red flag, they're trying to keep your relationship a secret. Red flag, they're completely inconsistent while dating you. Red flag, they're ghosting you. They're not replying. Red flag, you're always bored around them, or they always act bored around you. Red flag, not trusting your gut with them. If your gut says, I don't know about this person, and you're not trusting that, red flag. Red flag, if you're playing house, if you're acting like you're married when you haven't even committed to this person yet, red flag. All right, I'm gonna talk about some of my red flags. And so we're going to walk through those. I'm gonna make this quick, and this is not at all the red flags that I would have for a person. This is all off the top of my head. However, first off, I will say that when you know what you are looking for, it's much easier to see when someone is not that. For me, when I was 19 years old, I sat down and made a long list, 4+ pages, handwritten notes of just like one thing per line. And I wrote, this is what I want in a wife. This is what I want in a wife. This is what I want in a wife. And every time I've considered dating someone, I say, how do they rank up against this list? And sometimes people have ranked up well and they match basically all of it. And some people might not. However, something on the list, for example, is trustworthy. Can you know someone for like 2 weeks and know if they're trustworthy? Probably not. You're gonna learn over 2 months, 2 years, if this person is trustworthy. You're going to be continually learning throughout your life how trustworthy they are. So I'm not saying you have to fully know in order to move forward to the next step with them, whether that be dating or marriage and engagement. However, having a good eye on these things is important. Also, it is probably wise not to go to your partner and say, hey, these are all of the red flags I have of things I don't want to have in my partner. And so I just wanted you to know, because what can happen in that situation is the person is trying to perform to your list. They are trying to match the things that your list says you want from them, and then they are trying to hide the things that might be red flags that you would have noticed if you hadn't told them that your red flags are X, Y, and Z. So simply watch, simply witness how they operate, simply observe what they do and how they act. And you're going to learn a lot more than if you give them the cheat sheet on how to rank well for, is this person someone I want to be with for the rest of my life? All right, a few red flags off of the top of my mind. If they're anything unlike my list that I have written out, that is a clear red flag, first and foremost. If they don't have similar values, red flag. If they don't have the same type of faith as me, red flag, because I want to be like-minded. If they have different priorities for what they would want from a family, red flag. If they want to have a different lifestyle than me, red flag. If they don't align with my goals, red flag. If they don't have any goals, red flag. If they're dependent on me as their one and only source, red flag. If they don't know where they're going in life, red flag. If they can't communicate with me, red flag. If they try to play games with me, red flag. If they're not supportive of me, red flag. If they're not my biggest fan, red flag. I don't want to marry someone who's like my 30th biggest fan. A side note on this, biggest fan doesn't necessarily mean they say, you're the best, you're doing fantastic at every single thing you do. No, the biggest fan, honestly in my mind, will say, hey, you're messing up in this area, or you can improve in this area, and they can give you constructive criticism, and you can listen to that. And actually, I would prefer that. Someone who says, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, here's where you're doing well, here's where you're not doing well. Because a biggest fan wants you to achieve even higher than you're currently at. And so they will do whatever possible and share whatever possible, what's on their mind for how you can improve, because they are excited about your future. So do they care about the things that you're sharing with the world? Do they care about the projects you're working on? Do they follow the things that you're putting out there? Another red flag, does this person ask questions? Do they want to know you just as well as you want to know them? Asking someone, how was your day? That's fine. But when they tell you about their day, what do you do then? Do you dig into their day? Do you want to know more about what makes them them and aspects of their day? In a thriving conversation, you can go an inch wide. You can talk about one simple topic and then ask questions that brings you a mile deep in order to better understand the person and why they said this one thing about this one aspect about their day or whatever it may be. My point is, when you really truly do want to know someone, you want to dig into who they are and what makes them them. Because one person can be giving you attention, can be really liking the attention you give them. But if they don't truly know who you are, then they most likely enjoy your attention more than they appreciate you. And what does that say? And they might not even realize that that's happening. And that's honestly sad. It's sad for you and it's sad for them because they're falling in love with an idea of who you are because they don't know who you are. And you're getting attached to someone who truly doesn't care about you in the way that you care about them. Does this person perform for you? Like I said before, is this person actually themselves for you? Anyway, I could probably sit here and think of boom, 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 so many. Are they loyal to you? Are they ogling the guy or the girl that passes by you? Are they objectifying you? Are they abusive? Are they spiteful? Do they hold a grudge for a long time? There are so many things. And one of the clear things to remember is that we as humans, we are not perfect. We all have areas we can grow in. But when there is someone so right for you and maybe there's like one thing off, two things off, don't abandon ship so eagerly and so suddenly, because you also have to remember there's probably some things that you also need to improve on. And some red flags, some flaws can be worked through and discussed through, and you can actually become a lot better couple for each other. There's a book out there that's called The 5 Love Languages and talks about expressing love to each other and receiving love from each other. And it says when you guys have different expectations of what love is, you need to talk through about how you expect to receive love so you can better feel loved by this other person. A red flag may be if they're not showing you love in the way that they should show you love. But instead of just simply saying, oh, well, they're not doing it, bye-bye, you can say, this person is doing a lot of things right. Let's sit down and talk about how I hope to better be shown love, and so this person knows how I think and how I feel. Anyway, lots of things to think about. What I want you to comment below is what are 1 to 2 to 3 red flags that you think that you want to watch out for in a relationship, that you want to be cautious of in a relationship. I think everyone can glean from each other's red flags in the comments below, so be sure to share those. Subscribe to this channel because we got a few more upcoming videos that are going to be exciting. I believe the next one is, let's say you need to break up with someone. How do you decide, all right, now is the time that I need to break up? And how do you break up with that person? We talk about that in the next video. And your red flags will give you good insight on if you want to break up with that person. And finally, be sure to like this video because you're awesome and your likes matter. So be sure to like it and show YouTube that you have an opinion and that you like this video. All right, here's my last comment. In summary, don't only evaluate red flags in others, but evaluate red flags in yourself and look at how you can grow, how you can change so you can be the best partner for your other person, whether you're planning on being in a dating relationship, not in a dating relationship at all, or you're currently in a dating relationship, or you're married. You can always improve, you can always change, you can always get better. And so I respect you if you are deciding to get some red flags out of your own life. All right, adios. Have a green flag day full of green flags. And this has been Grady Wise Work coming at you.